Out in the dark, among the stars, the god is dead.
I had a dream. Almost like a premonition. I think there's an attack coming.
My lord, this world will fall.
I need warriors. I'm building an alliance to defend ourselves.
How do you know your team's strong enough? If you can't bring down the charging bull, then don't wave the red cape at it.
You were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes you the rest of your life, find out what that reason is.
They said the age of heroes would never come again.
It will. It has to.
We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. Isn't that right, Batman?
Watching every feature film that stars a certain Kid Crusader. Batman! Batman! Yes, of course I'm watching the cartoon and all 3 Lego movies. Batman! Batman! Sing it with me. Batman! Batman! This is big screen Batman! Oh, oops. Oh, Batman.
Bittersweet. When Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl, one of those with the Bucs, of course, 6 of them with the Patriots, someone I know said it was like a bittersweet feeling. And I didn't think much of it at the time, but honestly, I disagreed. It was not a bittersweet feeling. It was an indifferent feeling. It didn't mean anything to me. If anything, it was just annoying that he wasn't with my team. But bittersweet is a good way to describe how I feel after spending 4 hours today watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. 4 hours and 2 minutes, to be exact. Bittersweet because I guess, as a Superman and Batman nerd, I am just grateful that we were able to have this. Like, no other time have you seen, could there be something that happened like this? Think of anything, has anything ever happened like this, where someone was given a movie, had to have it taken away, and then was able to put out an original vision to at this high a level? You know, there are always director's cuts, and you've seen, like, I think, was it Superman 2? They put out the Donner cut, and I'm embarrassed to say I have yet to see that, but nothing like this. You know, I think of, remember when Joss Whedon, curse his name, he had Firefly, and then he got to make the movie version of it. Okay, but again, not the same thing. Say what you want about Zack Snyder. You can say he's douchey. You can say his movies are too long, too lingering, too much slow motion. The man has a specific style, and he sticks to that style. And there were lots of slow motion, lots of overdramatic, musical periods. But whatever you think about that as a use of the medium, it is beautiful to look at. Whether you think it's, overindulgent, you think it's a crutch, whatever you think it is just nice to look at. And you got plenty of those today in this 4-hour epic movie. What was it, last week or something? I watched the original Justice League, so it was fresh enough in my mind that certain things that I was looking for didn't happen, and certain things that I know I'd never seen before had happened. Obviously, with 4 hours, there's going to be plenty of things you haven't seen before. But why do I say bittersweet? I say bittersweet because when this movie ended, I was pissed off that it's more than likely that this is the end of these characters as a Justice League. There probably will be, there is going to be another Wonder Woman movie. There is going to be another Aquaman, and there is going to be a Flash movie. I don't know what's going to happen with Superman. Warner Brothers, DC, they are all over the place. Now we have, J.J. Abrams and a new writer who I don't know his name off the top of my head. And they're saying, does DC want to do something with a black Superman? Because isn't there a Cal or a different character in the comics that is another Kryptonian? So I don't know what's going to happen. Are we done with Henry Cavill's Superman? I don't know. And Ben Affleck's Batman, we hear that it's done. Then I hear something like, he's developing a TV show for HBO Max. Then I hear, he's going to be in the Flashpoint movie because they're going to do all kinds of things with all the different Batmen. What I would like, to be honest with you, is the Joker movie we saw and the new Robert Pattinson Batman movie. I would love if those were Elseworlds, standalone, their own things. And at the same time, even though it's confusing, we get the DC universe continuing, because the end of this movie made me want another Justice League. It made me want more Ben Affleck Batman. Yes, I said it. I'm not going to apologize for it. They even set it up, with Deathstroke, Lex Luthor. They twisted that little stinger ending that we saw in the original cut. spoilers, if you didn't watch this, I'm going to be talking about lots of things. Or I'm going to be trying to talk about lots of things because I finished it about 4 hours ago. I have to tell you, I took the day out of work today. I said I've been off all week, but it all started because I wanted to take this day off. I got my Justice League shirt on, and I wanted to. I started the movie around. I wanted to start around 10. Started maybe about 10:30. Had to pause it here and there, not for any delayed amount of time, but just little things here and there. And so I finished it closer to 3 than 2. And when I was done, yeah, I just was like, oh, how can this be the end? Can this really be the end? Because they have these things of, we're getting ready. There's more coming. We have to be ready. Good to know. All these things are just like, even like the extra scenes that you know were new, or at least as far as I know, they're new. They're leading you to something that we just probably won't ever see. And it pisses me off. But it pisses me off, like, you know, just because like this, what could have been, what should have been. This movie is what should have been. And they just should have they should have cut it into Justice League 1 and Justice League 2 and did it over 2 years, one at a time. If they wanted to do 2-hour movies, awesome. If they had to, because the overall story of the movie isn't all that different, right? I just watched the original Justice League, but I forget, did they mention Darkseid? Did they tease him? I feel like they did. And in this one, they showed him more, but he was still just a setup for a possible sequel. He really wasn't the big bad. It was still Steppenwolf. But they did little things that it seemed like they made the plot make more sense to me. And because this was an ensemble cast, and some of these cast members and characters you've never seen before, they allowed, obviously with 4 hours, they allowed so much more breathing room for these characters to be developed. You learn so much more about Cyborg. I don't know if I can't wait to look and see what actually was reshot or was newly shot and what was on the cutting room floor. I know Zack Snyder says he does a ton of shooting. He always has a ton of footage. But I'd be interested to see what was new, what was redone. There's going to be YouTube videos. There's going to be, I think there's a documentary or like a little special on HBO Max that I'm going to be watching. So I am looking forward to that as well. I love what they got rid of. Little things they got rid of. Like, I'm like, oh, they cut that. They cut that. So every time there's something that's cut, I'm thinking that's a Joss Whedon thing. They get rid of like the Flash landing on Wonder Woman awkwardly. They get rid of Do You Talk to Fish? They got rid of the stupid beginning where Superman's, Henry Cavill's mustache is digitally removed. They got rid of that completely. There was definitely some things that look like was part of the original movie, but now they have Superman in the black suit. I, unfortunately, sadly, don't know the origin of why he chose the black suit over the blue and red. But it was awesome to see. It wasn't just he wasn't evil, and it was the name of that chapter was Something Darker. It wasn't necessarily referencing the suit, but I had a feeling that's what it was also kind of like playfully referencing. They got rid of the beginning. So the little beginning stinger where Batman is using a thief as bait to get one of those parademons, they cut that out completely. Like it was the guy, I don't know the actor's name, but he's Bill Tench from the Mind, whatever that show on Netflix, where they look for the killers, and it's a great show, and he's got a great voice. I would try to do an impression of him, but I can't really do an impression of him. But it's kind of like this. They cut that out completely, but we got a great Flash save that we were robbed of. We got just more Ezra Miller being awkward, funny. We got, as I said, a lot more Ray Fisher, a lot more Victor Stone, the Cyborg, a ton more origin with that, stuff with his mom we'd never seen before. They also cut out, the, there was something where Batman landed. He's like, oh, that's going to leave a mark or something he said stupid. They cut out this is all from memory, so forgive me. When Aquaman sits on the lasso and he starts saying, you're really hot and I really care. This is great. And he realizes on the lasso of truth is compelling him to say these things. Cut that out completely. They cut out the Batman, Bruce Wayne saying to Wonder Woman Diana, like something like he's not coming back, like being a jerk to her about Steve Trevor. They cut that out. Just good. That was like an unnecessary thing. They added in, like in the original version, the Amazons shoot this fire into a old Greco looking building, and Diana sees it on TV and knows that it's a sign that something's happening. But in this version, she actually goes to that building, uses the arrow because it's an Amazon temple, and goes underground and finds the old stories about the parademons and Darkseid. I don't know if I'm right in thinking this, but I know when Lois and Clark's mom meet, they meet like at a diner, I think, or do they meet at the paper? I forget. But there's a difference with their meeting here. And of course, at one moment, their meeting didn't actually happen. It was, and look, spoiler, it was Harry Lennox as Martian Manhunter posing as Ma Kent to talk to Lois and try to get her back out into the world of writing. And it's like, the world needs Lois Lane, he said. And I don't know if that has anything to do with seeing the future, because there's some future things that are interesting. They talk about the Batman, Superman, weird Flash thing where he comes back. He says, did I come back too far? Did I go too far? Did I go back far enough? Lois Lane's the key. Batman has one of the extra scenes at the end is Batman has a dream of this dystopian future. And this dystopian future comes because Lois Lane ends up dying. And that's where Superman seems to turn bad. So I guess they need to prevent that in a sequel that's not ever going to happen. We could talk about the ending real quick. It ended and there was a half-hour epilogue. I'm like, damn. The thing we saw with Jared Leto's Joker essentially is another dream that Batman had about a future that could happen. There was no like text or anything that said this, the year or anything. It just went from they saved the day, let's show some things going on, and then here's the future that we think is happening. All of a sudden, Joe Matalanaya's Deathstroke is with them. Spoiler alert, this is all happening. He's with them. Mira is with them. Aquaman, it seems like Aquaman is dead. I don't know if Wonder Woman's alive. I thought they made a reference to that. Cyborg is there. Flash is there. He's got a little bit of a mustache. So time has passed. And they're all working together, and they're working together with one guy who they can't believe they're working together with, Jared Leto's Joker. And Ben Affleck's like, and make no point about it, because when I kill you, and I will effing kill you. There were swear words. And Leto getting to do that laugh. And just we just saw Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. And his Joker was this, crazy person who is looking for, I don't know. It just was it was more grounded in reality. This guy seemed way more like a Joker for a comic book and a comic book movie. And it was only for a few minutes. And again, technically it was just a dream, but it was an awesome little stinger to see. And I really enjoyed it. Batman wakes up, and that's when we see Martian Manhunter again. He introduces himself. He says he'll be around. He flies off. And I think that's the end of the end, I believe. I don't think there's anything else. I have to watch this movie again. 4 hours long, and I have to watch it again. What else did they remove? Gosh, I can't think of things off the top of my head. you know, it was still them getting the mother box. I feel like the fight, like when Diane told the backstory about the mother boxes, at least it made a little more sense now that she learned about all of this in the temple and she's sharing it with them. And they, like, it seemed like that fight was a little bigger. And I think, look, I can't believe this. I just saw this. I don't think Darkseid was in the original. He's in this version. So Darkseid's in that. They keep teasing once the boxes get together, Darkseid. We get a view into Apocalypse, right? That's the name of his planet. We see Darkseid's world through this, like, you know, this gate. But they beat the hell out of Steppenwolf at the end. Wonder Woman chops his head off, and they close the gate, and the mother boxes are gone. He's like, we'll do this the old-fashioned way. So they're setting it up for a sequel that we're never going to see. But I guess I could say I'm ready to finally say never. Because look at this. I mean, let's say this does amazing for HBO Max. I don't even know how you gauge that. But let's say the numbers are off the charts. Its reviews are ridiculous. And by that I mean I did not expect anything good from the world. I was just expecting that I'm going to watch this movie and I'm going to go in liking it no matter what. And say what you want about Rotten Tomatoes, but the original Justice League was a 40% movie. This is a 77% movie. That means if they made it 6 hours long, it would have been 80%. Just add more time. So, and like I looked at it, it was 75%. I'm like, wow. Then it went up to 76 and 77 and 78, and then it went down to 77. So let's just hope it stays at 77. But let's just say this did amazing, word of mouth, and people are talking about it. I don't know how this works. And they give Jared Leto an Oscar for the 2 minutes he's on the screen. I know. But the Jokers get Oscars, so you never know. Would it be beyond the pale for HBO Max to say, all right, look, let's get the gang together. Let's do this. We were wrong. Maybe the Bob Pattinson movie doesn't kill, even though it looks good. That's the thing. It's like, okay, DC is never going to be Marvel. They're never going to tell this giant, huge, overarching story split over, tons of different movies and different characters. It's not in the cards. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just not working out for them, I think. So give me 65 different Supermans and 65 different Batmans. I'm exaggerating, but as long as the movies are fun and enjoyable, I will be there. And I'll take vacation days and watch for 4 freaking hours. And I have to say, I was like, wow, this movie's great. I still have 3.5 hours to go. I was just enjoying it. Like, I don't even know. Maybe I was just enjoying it better than it is. But I was like, we're actually getting this. This is happening. They you hear about the Snyder cut for years, and now they say, Zack Snyder's done with DC. But look, again, you never say never. They could always throw a boatload of money at Affleck and Snyder and Henry Cavill and say, okay, guys, this is the streaming movie version of Batman and Superman. And then there's the TV version of Superman. And then there's the cinematic version of Superman. And then there's the comic book version of Superman. And then there's the radio version, the podcast version. I mean, there could be 65 different Supermans. For some reason, I keep using that number. But whatever there is, I'm at least going to try it and watch it. And probably like it because guess what? I'm easy to please. But when I don't like something, I don't. I was texting with one of my friends. Hello, David. And he was like, yeah, you loved the first one. And then the more I brought things up, you're like, oh yeah, that wasn't good. And yeah, he's right. As I always come out of something, well, I shouldn't say always, because there is Scream 4. And I remember Age of Ultron not being crazy about that. But a lot of the times I come out of something and I think, man, that was amazing. And then I listen to something and I'm easily swayed. I'm like, oh, no, maybe that wasn't amazing. But besides the overindulgence of Zack Snyder, the slow motion, the fact that it's 4 hours long, I'm not sure there's going to be a hole poked in it big enough for me to say I didn't like this, because a lot of these little awkward, weird things they took out from, from Joss Hole. That's what I'm calling him. I'm not sure what more to say. I mean, the plot of the movie again was get these the what the hell is it called? The Steppenwolf is coming. The mother box. Oh, yes. Okay. They actually gave it a reason. Now I remember how the movie started. The movie started at the end of Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition, because again, to me, that's the only edition that exists. It starts with the whatever the hell it is, Superman stabbing the bad guy. I don't even remember his name, but it's Doomsday. So it starts with the showing the end of the movie, well, pretty much close to the end, showing the results of that fight. Superman goes down. Batman is looking at it. Wonder Woman's looking at it. Doomsday goes down. And his scream as he's dying reverberates, I believe is a word, throughout the world, throughout the universe. And that is what wakes up the mother boxes. It like shakes them awake. And they do a pretty good job explaining this a little later, where it's like, it's almost as if they were hiding because they were afraid of him, and they can't, now he's gone, the world can kind of come back. I feel like they explained their plan for bringing Superman back better. I just watched the original last week and I already forget, because they said, anybody can light a match and burn a house down. It's like you can take something, an element of something, and turn it into something else. You have a house, you burn it down, the house is still something, but now it's ash or it's smoke. Where a mother box can take something, burn it down, but it also will take the burn pieces and put it back together. And that's where they were like, oh, are you thinking what I'm thinking? I mean, they didn't say that, but actually, no, maybe the Flash did say that. I'm trying to think of other things they cut out. When the Flash sees his dad, he goes to the prison, and the prison guard behind like the glass when he's signing in is Mark McClure, Dave McFly, Jimmy Olsen. They cut that scene because there's a guy who's a jerk behind him, and he uses a marker to go really fast and draw on him. Again, a silly thing. They got rid of it. Instead, now he goes and visits his dad in prison. No problem. But we still get Mark McClure in it. Again, did they shoot that again, or did Joss Whedon say, we're going to cut this part out, and instead we're going to put Mark McClure here so he can at least be in it? That must have been what it is, because now he's a cop. He's like this cop on the beat. I think he was protecting the monument of Superman that was damaged, that was vandalized, and we see Lois goes there. We see Lois goes to this monument, but she hasn't been going to work. She brings a coffee to the police officer. She visits all the time, but I think she was going to stop doing that. They show her kind of being like a little depressed. They show her having one of Superman's capes with her. One thing they changed also is right after they bring Superman back, they made it, Ben Affleck's like, I have a trump card. I have a card, one last card to play. And he goes and gets Lois and brings her to Clark to like calm him down. They didn't have that in this one. In this one, the fight was definitely felt bigger. And Clark definitely went cuckoo bananas using his laser vision on Batman even. Luckily, Batman had these gauntlets that was dispersing power. Lois finally kind of got out of the house, and she was outside when Superman popped out, out of Star Lab, the Star Labs, out of the Kryptonian ship. And she actually witnessed it. And she followed him. She got there after the big fight happened. It was definitely a bigger fight. So it was more organic. Like she just, she was there, in town, and she was out doing something because Martha Kent, aka Martian Manhunter, said you need to get out and do things. He hasn't interacted with anyone else except Batman, so I don't know who else even knows he exists. At the end, they still have the scene where they're taking the old Wayne Manor and going to turn it into like the Hall of Justice. We did see the Hall of Justice in, was it another dream of a future? Was it Batman's dream? No, Ray Fisher, Cyborg, had a vision this time when they were going to do the mother box, bringing back Superman. And it was like, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. And they gave him a vision of a future where we saw Superman. I think at this point he might have been working. He seemed like he might have been working with Doom's Darkseid, or he definitely looked pissed or just evil. And we saw a crackled building, a broken building, and it said Justice League on the building. So that was cool to see. We saw more close-ups of Green Lanterns. No Ryan Reynolds, no Hal Jordan. There was, well, no, I guess we saw Green Lanterns in the original. I felt like it was closer up, but maybe that whole battle, the whole battle in the past for the mother boxes was just bigger. It just felt bigger. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that stands out. Just more Lois, more Clark. And when Clark shows up, I think in the last one, he kind of shows up as like, I am here to fight. In this one, he makes like a grand entrance and blocks Steppenwolf's axe from crashing into Cyborg. Well, Cyborg is trying to reprogram the mother boxes, and he's like not impressed. Kicks some ass. We get a horn version of that ding 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 ding. It was like bam 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 bam, and that was like, oh, and I'm getting all pumped up for that. Oh, that was awesome. And then they're like Superman are ripping things apart, and Superman's beating the crap out of Steppenwolf. I was like, yes, I need more Superman punching things. Give this to me. Also, Henry Cavill's body doesn't seem human. He seems like he might be Kryptonian. Like when he first comes back, it's in the original movie, he comes back with like a half hour left. In this one, I think he comes back with like an hour and a half left, or 2 hours left. I don't know. It's like he's still not a major part of the movie because it's almost like a last resort. And they do talk about, well, we need him to fight them, but if we use this to wake him up, they're gonna know where it is, and it's gonna, it's like the catch-22. But they're like, we need him, so they got him anyway. They gave him a little longer to recover. Like he reflexively, whatever, the word I'm looking for, but on reflex, yeah, maybe that's it. He goes to Smallville with Lois right after he's like freaking out, and he's in the corn, and then he's kind of figuring it out, and then he, Ma Kent comes back. He's like, yeah, I'm back. This time they gave it a little more, like it was just a little longer. They gave him some time. He's like, she loved it here. I don't understand. I love it here. Like it was just, I needed a little more of him figuring that out, which was cool. And he didn't just come back as Superman. He went back to the ship. Oh my God, yes, I almost forgot this scene. He went back to the ship, and then we got a montage of voices of Jonathan Kent and Jor-El talking to him, saying all these things with the music going, and you being a beacon of light and all this stuff. And then we seeing the different suits that are there, And then it went from like the blue suit, and then we see him looking at another suit, and then boom, he comes out in the black suit, and he bends down like he's ready to flight, and it's like, oh, and it's like, I think it said "Fly, Clark, fly" or something. Oh my God! Oh, I'm getting excited just talking about it. This might be a 4-hour podcast as I remember things. Oh my God! I mean, I'm a sucker for Superman. So what do you expect me to not be like pumped beyond belief at that? Oof. It was funny. I'm on vacation, but a question came up to me at work, so I quickly answered it, and I said, "I gotta go. Superman's back. I gotta go." And I gave a little Superman emoji. My boss understood. She knows what I am. So I'm trying to think, what else? Superman, yeah. We got more Alfred, more Alfred stuff. Little things. In the end, we got it in that nightmare dream or whatever they call it. We got reference to Robin, the Boy Wonder, and reference to the fact that Joker killed him. My God, I'm saying a lot, but it's just like I'm getting excited talking about all the things that I saw over and over. I don't know Cyborg all that well. My knowledge of him is primarily this, Doom Patrol, and some comics I'm starting to read. They did mention now that they couldn't get the mother boxes. Those were destroyed, but they found out that Earth has the anti-life equation, antimatter, anti-life equation. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the same thing that I've been reading in the DC Deceased comic. So I went, because I actually knew something. Like, I actually, as much as I love these characters, knowing that I think I picked up on something myself, I was impressed by myself, I have to say. So that was the setup for the sequel. That is the true thing that the Darkseid wants. And, are we ever going to see it? I'm guessing no, but I'm not holding that to some sort of rule, because you just never know. Trying to think what else extra. I mean, there's so much extra. I feel like we had extra stuff in the Mascura. Maybe it was just fleshed out better. It just looked better. Everything. If you didn't like Justice League, the original Justice League, but you like these characters, I think watching this, and you could split it up. You could watch. It's given like 6 chapters. Watch one a day. Just give it a try. If you dislike Zack Snyder, I get it, but if you like these characters but wasn't a fan of the first movie, I still would say give it a try. If you liked the original Justice League and you haven't watched this yet because of the time, which I think that's crazy, but you will love this, because it takes these characters and it does a better job of presenting the story that we were given the first time around. It's just done better. I don't know what else to say. I'm trying to think of other things that I've missed, that I may not have seen, and I cannot think of anything. Oh, I just thought of one more thing. Now, at the beginning of Wonder Woman's moment, she saves all these people in this museum, and I think, and I could be completely wrong, but I think in the original she takes the bomb and she throws it up through the window, and that's it. In this one, am I wrong? I might be wrong, but I felt different. I felt like in this one she definitely flies out through the window, then throws the bomb straight up. Maybe that's what happened, but I don't know. Either way, it looked better this time. Everything about this was better than the original. Everything. The Stinger ending, I'm going to talk about that. In the original Stinger, the original after credit ending, we have Deathstroke showing up with Lex Luger. Lex Luger's a wrestler. We had Deathstroke show up with Lex Luthor. We got the thing again where Lex Luthor escaped from prison. There's someone in there. Even though at the beginning we showed Lex Luthor, they showed a clip of him with long hair in the Kryptonian ship. Still, I think right when his the Steppenwolf thing was disappearing, right after Superman was killed. But then again, they caught Lex Luthor and got him, so they didn't have to show that again. So he's in prison. He breaks out of prison. He's on a boat, and I'm assuming this wasn't reshot. I think it was just maybe they tried a few different things. I'm guessing, or they added something in and just took something out because in the original, he's talking about he goes, let's make a league of our own. Why would he call them a league? Unless they never call themselves the Justice League. So why would he say a league? Again, I thought it was kind of clever and excited, get you ooh, there's going to be the bad guy group. But this time around, he says, well, then I'll give you a little bit of advice. Batman is Bruce Wayne. And it's like, wait, what? What? So he tells Deathstroke who Batman is because I guess Batman took his eye out and he wants revenge. And that was the setup for the original The Batman movie with Ben Affleck, which is never happening. Or is it? I have no idea anymore. I don't know what to believe or what to trust. I know there's a Batman movie coming out next year with Robert Pattinson, but who knows? Maybe that's the weird one and we never see that again. I mean, think about it. Think about Marvel. We had Andrew Garfield in 3 Spider-Man movies that just nobody thinks about. Nobody talks about. We think about Tobey Maguire. Those movies are talked about a lot. There were, I'm sorry, not 3, but there were 2 Andrew Garfield movies. And they didn't want him for Marvel. They brought in a younger guy. And it makes sense if you wanted a high school, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But now they're talking all of them coming back for a movie. I don't know if it's going to happen. And DC's talking about doing the same thing with all these Batman. If we don't get Clooney and Val Kilmer, come on. I mean, we won't, but it would be cool if we did. Anything's possible. Money talks. And again, I don't know how you would gauge a movie like this because it's only streaming. I know he talked about IMAX. Oh, that's another thing. It was presented in 3:4, which if you know, or 4:3, whatever it is. It's presented kind of like the old-fashioned TV box, where if you're watching it on a HD TV, it's got black bars on both sides. Weird. It was weird when I saw the YouTube video. I was like, why am I seeing this? Was this made for Instagram? Weird enough. But when they show you the aspect ratio and they say, well, look, it's actually adding to the top and bottom. What you were seeing was a zoomed in version that was cutting off the top and bottom, which is kind of like the opposite of the old pan and scan that you would see where they would zoom in they would zoom in on the movie and you got the left and right cut off. From my understanding, he shot this in an aspect ratio that was made for IMAX theaters. So you're watching it on your TV. It has these, if your TV's huge, awesome. My TV isn't huge, I don't think. I think it's 44. Good enough. And I'm not sitting like 100 feet away. After about 5 minutes, I didn't even notice the screen, the black on the side. Now I'm picturing like I'm getting more because I'm getting the top and the bottom. Believe me, I used to buy letterbox at VHS and I would get the black bars on the top and I'd be like, I'm getting more screen. So I watch The Abyss. I'm like, yes, look at this is the way it's supposed to be seen. This is the way this is supposed to be seen. I buy into that. I'm easy to convince. So I'm fine with it. But if you see it, you might be... And they put a little disclaimer. It's like, this was Zack Snyder's original cinematic vision. It's like, okay, great. I get it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm done. I really was excited about this movie. Just the fact that it was even happening is mind-blowing. The fact that I got to enjoy it, hopefully with millions of other people today. And here's the thing, it's not one of those straight-to-cinema movies, right? So it's not going to be there 31 days. It's a Max original, they call it. So I'm hoping it will always be available on HBO Max, and I could watch it over and over again. It's one of those things where it's 4 hours long. I don't need to sit and watch it one time now. Now I can watch chapter 1, chapter 2, and go back and watch it and enjoy it and try to push other people to watch and say, just watch it like a TV show. Please watch this. Maybe it'll lead to things in the future. I doubt it will, but it can't hurt. If you don't watch it, it definitely won't. So do it for me. I think I'm officially done. And with this, we come to the end of big screen Batman for now. And look, I understand this wasn't on the big screen, okay? But it was a film, so I counted it. It was a film that was on the big screen. It's just a new version, so I am still counting it. And maybe someday I will see this on an IMAX screen. And I think I saw that he added a 10-minute intermission in it. You know, if it ever does get to IMAX, if I get both my vaccines someday and can get back into the real world, I without a doubt will like to go see this on a big IMAX screen, probably at like one of the Jordan's Furnitures, which is really the only IMAX screens I think in the area in Massachusetts. We have a Lowe's that has like IMAX experience, but I don't think it's the same thing. But it's also down the street, so maybe I'll just go there instead. But again, you know, not anytime soon. But here's the thinking. The Batman, that's not for another year, right? I don't think it's coming out till 2022. So essentially, this is the quote-unquote finale, for now, of the big screen Batman series. It will go on for future Batman movies or future movies with Batman, because we're going to get another Lego Batman movie. So you're going to hear me back for that. And you're going to, hear me back for the Batman. Other than that, who knows? I feel like they're always going to keep making Batman movies at some point. So we'll continue to be doing this special on the Geek Mentality feed, hopefully for years to come. But it kind of leaves me with a bit of a void for these specials, and not the daily things. Like I'm going to do the daily things. The movie month's coming in June. I'm going to be doing something this Christmas in December. I have, of course, I'm doing Marchie McFly right now, and the plan for that is for at least the next this March and the next 2 Marches, we're going to be doing that. But I feel like, I could do something similar to big screen Batman that could kind of fill an immediate void. It's not a daily thing. It could be a weekly thing. It could be once every couple of weeks, but just something to keep the feed alive during these months where I'm not doing a daily show. So I was thinking, what could I do in the meantime? That's right, boys and girls. Starting in April, Geek Mentality brings to you, from the makers of Big Screen Batman, we're getting Silver Screen Superman. We're going to watch every Superman movie, including some of the ones we just watched for Big Screen Batman, baby. Admittedly, this list is a lot smaller, but we're starting off with a really old one, again. Then we have 4 Christopher Reeve movies. Then we have Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, and then Zack Snyder's Justice League. But we also have the Lego I think is Superman and Lego Batman. If he's in it for 1 second, boom, we're watching that again. We're watching the 2 Lego movies again. But I can't believe I'm doing that again. Some of these movies are gonna have three episodes in here, but I don't care. I love it. I don't care. But we also get Shazam, right? Because Superman's in that. Technically, we see him for 2 seconds. So I don't know if I'm missing anything. But I am definitely going to look up to make sure all the times that Superman was on screen in a feature film. Oh my God. Superman Returns. I was, thinking about Lex Luthor and thinking about Gene Hackman. I was like, wait a minute, Kevin Spacey was... Oh, Superman Returns. I get to talk about Kevin Spacey. How exciting. And I can't believe I forgot about that one at first. But it's all going to be starting here in April. I am excited. We did it. We finished big screen Batman today. And I hope you enjoyed me talking about a 4-hour movie, because I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do it. And who knows how different I'll be thinking about it the next time I watch it. But I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for sticking with this, as well as with the Marty McFly stuff I'm doing right now. I do these monthly shows or these daily shows from special months just because it gives me a creative project to do, and I'm not done yet. I mean, I feel like I'm talking like it's the end of Marty McFly, but those are fun creative projects, and these other ones, this big screen Batman and now silver screen Superman, is kind of my way to force myself to rewatch things or to watch things. That's where Movie Month originally even came from. So I hope you stay subscribed, and probably at the end of Marty McFly, I might take a couple days off, just to kind of breathe. And but keep subscribed, keep looking, because right around the corner you'll be seeing Superman fighting some mole men. Right? It's pretty exciting stuff. So again, thank you guys so much for listening, so much for subscribing. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek Mentality. If you are a Superman fan, I have a podcast called Reaction Comics. We're on Instagram at Reaction Comics, and just search Reaction Comics, a Superman podcast, anywhere podcasts are available. It's a weekly show where we talk about old action comics, and it is a lot of fun to do. There's 7 episodes out now, and the 8th one will be coming out this Monday, which reminds me, I need to do that. So until then, my friends, until we come back for Silver Screen Superman, or until you hear me on the next Marty McFly, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing. And that's it. Oh, and finally, here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans not experts.